Minute MBA, how to tell if you're an entrepreneur. 1. You started young. As a child, you didn't just have a lemonade stand, you had a lemonade franchise and a toll-free number. 42% of all entrepreneurs launch their first business in childhood. And studies show that the earlier an entrepreneur starts their first business, the more likely they'll find success. Today, kids are born entrepreneurs, having traded in their newspaper routes and baseball cards for developing mobile apps. Like 14-year-old Robert Nay's Bubble Ball, which has over 9.1 million downloads. That's a lot of milk money. 2. You're a gambler. Ray Bradbury might have had the entrepreneur in mind when he said that living at risk is jumping off a cliff and building your wings on the way down. 7 in 10 entrepreneurs feel that taking risks is more important to success than avoiding mistakes. And 77% of people use their own money or family assets for starting up their business. Of course, the only guarantee you have when jumping off a cliff is that the ground is eager to meet you, which means 3. You're probably a failure. First-time entrepreneurs can expect to fail 82% of the time, which is probably why nearly 2 out of 10 say that they have at least one maxed-out credit card. But though the virtual promise of crushing debt may seem like a big deal, the fact is, 4. You're not in it for the money. Even though entrepreneurs on average make at least 25% more than the general population, 2/3 claim innate drive as the #1 motivator in starting their business. To learn more about entrepreneurship programs, check out onlinemba.com.
We have here, this is just a kind of a basic dental light that basically kind of hovers over every chair, and very important again to creating more high visibility. And the light is very, very bright, so when shined on the patient's mouth, it can illuminate it to a very great factor that we can see things that we wouldn't normally be able to see without. When I graduated dental school, I actually didn't really know where my career path led. I didn't know if I wanted to specialize. I didn't know if I wanted to work in a hospital. I didn't know if I wanted to be in private practice. So my first job was actually joining the military. One thing nice about the military was you didn't really have to make any sort of commitments to what you wanted to do in dentistry, and I knew that I did not know where I wanted to be. I didn't know where I wanted to live, and I certainly didn't know if I wanted to just practice general dentistry or specialize. So my career path basically took me in the military, where I could become a general dentist, do a little bit of traveling, and then certainly get a little bit of exposure to all the different facets of dentistry. Once I left the military, I decided that I wanted to go into private practice. I wanted to basically have my own business. I wanted to be able to get in a situation where I could set my own hours. I would determine my earning potential. I certainly wanted to be the one that dictates my vacations. And so what I did was, when I separated, I purchased an existing dental practice. And it's from there that I basically started to build a practice of my own, that I could kind of set all my priorities straight and kind of get the business to how I wanted it to run. I went and pursued the military because I didn't know exactly where I wanted to practice, and I didn't even know what I wanted to do in dentistry. My opportunity to practice in the military gave me exposure to a lot of different disciplines of dentistry, and also put me in scenarios that were much different than you'd see in a private practice outcome. So for me, it was just an issue of getting some more experience and exposure to kind of guide me into what kind of dentist that I wanted to be. In the military, certainly, we primarily deal with people that deploy and go to war. So certainly the treatment scenarios that we can present to them are much different than in private practice, because there's a lot more limitations. For example, someone who may need something really complicated that's cosmetic, they may not necessarily have time to get something like that because of their availability. Where in private practice, basically the sky's the limit. You can do whatever you want to do, or whatever the patient wants to do. So in terms of flexibility, there's a lot less flexibility in the military as far as the treatment options you can present, and basically the access and availability to care. Certainly, where you practice is going to dictate, what kind of dentistry you can provide. So practicing in Nashville, Tennessee versus maybe doing dentistry in Iraq is going to be a lot different as far as the dentistry that you can do on a patient.
It is our nature to explore, to go places no one has ever dreamed, to redefine what is possible. It is our calling to create, to transform the world around us, to plant the seeds of change. It is our responsibility to disrupt, to laugh in the face of conformity, to create our own reality. It is our duty to lead, to show strength when others are weak, to trust ourselves when everyone doubts. We are the brave souls that are changing our culture, our economy, and redrawing the lines of the future.